Hello and welcome to a video from filmsbychris.com. That's Chris the K. Today we're going to be creating QR codes. And you just need an application. The application I like is called QR Encode. So I can, on a Debian-based system, use sudo apt install QR Encode, and that should install it. I already have it installed. If you're not on Debian, use whatever package manager is for your distribution. Most distributions should have it in their repositories. At this point, we can just run this command, QR Encode -T for type. We're going to say PNG. We'll talk more about that in a moment. And then give it a text, any type of text you want. In this case, it's a URL. And then we're going to say -O for output, and I'm going to put it into a PNG file. When I run that, you can see it's created one, and even that thumbnail might be enough for you to scan. Now, I want to talk more about type. There's a lot of different types that it can handle, and PNG is the default, so actually, we don't even need that if we're creating a PNG. We can just do this, and I'll create a new one, because by default, it will overwrite any existing files. Be aware of that, so you don't accidentally overwrite stuff. But there we go. Now we have a second QR code. And real quick, if we do man QR encode and we go down to type, you can see that there is a list, a pretty decent sized list of formats that it supports, which we will talk about more in the future videos. We can see the default is PNG. I thank you for watching. Please visit filmsbychris.com. That's Chris the K. There's a link in the description. As always, I hope that you have a great day. Hello and welcome to a video from filmsbychris.com. That's Chris with a K. I'm Chris with a K. Today we're going to be looking a little more at QR encode for creating QR codes. Again, if we go into man QR encode after we've installed QR encode, we have the man page, and if I search forward for type, as we talked about in the last video, there is a bunch of different formats it supports: PNG, PNG32, EPS, SVG, a few others. And today we're going to be looking at the ASCII and the UTF-8s. So let's go ahead. Last time we were creating actual images. What these allow you to do is create QR codes that are actually printed to your screen in text. So let's have a look at that. So I am going to say QR encode -T for type, and I'm going to say ASCII, which is basically, think of it as typable characters from your keyboard. So it will display it right here. I'm going to create a QR code that says filmsbychris.com. So I run that. It's a little large. I can shrink it down, and you should be able to scan that with your phone or whatever device you're using, and it should bring you to filmsbychris.com, or at least show you that text. Alternatively, you can run the same exact thing and add an extra I at the end here, and that will invert it to what was black is now white and what was white is now black. And there you have a nice QR code in using the pound or hashtag or whatever you call it in your country symbol. That's great if you have a terminal with limited characters, because some terminals will only display certain characters. If your terminal supports UTF-8, we can do this instead, which I think looks a little bit nicer. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you. We just say type UTF-8, we run that, and we get a nice looking QR code right there. And these are selectable text characters. So you can actually put this in a text file if you want. And just like with the ASCII, you can add an extra I at the end here, and it will just invert the colors for you. This is really great for creating QR codes on the fly. QR Encode, the program, is available in the repositories for Termux on Android, and I have definitely used this in the past where there's certain applications, apps for the phone that you might generate QR codes for you for certain scenarios, and I've used in the past where I've kind of figured out the pattern to some QR codes, and I've been able to create them on the fly with a shell script and scan them at kiosks and not have to actually have the app installed on my phone that's tracking me and making QR codes specifically for me. I could generate my own on the fly right there in the terminal. I don't have to open up an image application or anything. But that's a little bit more at QR encode and actually using UTF-8 or ASCII to create text-based characters in your terminal, not having to create a separate file such as a PNG or an SVG, which are very useful in certain cases. But if you're trying to stay in the terminal here, this is a great way to do it. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you have a great day. Hello, and welcome to a video from filmsbychris.com. That's Chris the K. I'm Chris with a K. Previous videos, we created some QR codes, but how can you on your desktop scan for QR codes? Let's say you have an image that is a QR code, either from a screenshot or you download it from somewhere. Well, there's a program called ZBar Image. Now, the package is called, if we say on a Debian-based system, I'm going to use aptitude search, but you can also use apt, and I'll search for ZBar, and you can see there's a package here called ZBar Tools, which will install ZBar Image and also ZBar Cam, either the GTK or the Qt package, depending on what framework you prefer. But I already have that installed, So what I'm going to do is I have a QR code that we created. We have two here that I think have the same information on them from a previous video. And what I can just do now that I have ZBar image installed, I can do that. And then I can just give it the name of the file that we've created, qr.png. And it will say, okay, it found a QR code, because ZBar image doesn't just find QR codes, it finds all types of barcodes. And in this case, it's telling you it found one, it is a QR code, this is the text, and it says it scanned and found one, but the image could have multiple QR codes or other types of barcodes in it. Now, that's a lot of information. What if we just want the text? Well, one thing we can do, we can say --raw, and that will give us the text, but it also gives us still the output here with more information. So we can add to that -q, and now we should get just the text from any barcodes in this image. In this case, it's just the URL. Now, you might go back to when we searched for the packages and saw there was one called ZBar Cam, and cam-gtk, just depending on what package you have. If you have a webcam, that will actually open up and run that program for scanning images, just like you would with your phone, but you can do it with your desktop using the webcam. So this is going to be very useful especially if you have a bunch of QR codes you can scan through and find a bunch in one image if you want. But again, this is a package called ZBar-tools on Debian. Should be in the repositories for most Linux distributions. Install it with your package manager, and then just point it to any image, and it will give you the text from those barcodes in there. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you have a great day. Hello, and welcome to a video from filmsbychris.com. That's Chris with the K. I'm Chris with the K. Today, we're just going to be creating some image files that contain some text. And I'm just going to show you the most basic options for this, which is basically putting the text in an image and also changing the font size. So we're going to use ImageMagick. So, oops, that's from the last video. So ImageMagick, like so. So it should be in your repositories. You might already have it installed on a Debian-based system. If you don't have it installed, sudo apt install ImageMagick. At this point, it will install a package of different commands. And one of them is the convert command, which is very useful for converting a lot of images to different things. But we're not going to convert an image, we're going to create an image. So down here you can see the directory. In the previous video we created a QR code PNG. We're going to be working with that again in the future. But here what I can do is I can say -point size, and I can give it a font size, let's say 32. And then in quotations I'll say label, : and I'll give it some words like hello world. Okay, so I have those quotation marks there, and then I just need to give it the file that I want to create. So I'm just going to say text.png, and now that we did that, we have an image here that has the word text. It's white background, and of course with ImageMagick, if you're not familiar with it, is used on a lot of web servers. It's libraries for converting, compressing, and manipulating images, but think of it as GIMP or Photoshop for your shell commands. So if you can do it with an image, you can probably do it with ImageMagick. And the commands can get pretty long and complicated. I'm trying to keep it simple here. So we're just creating the text here with whatever the default font is in black and a white background, but you can change the font and the colors and stuff. But right now, we're just looking at creating a basic image with those words. If I wanted smaller text, I could come in here and I can say something like 12, and now we've created the same image but with a smaller text. And that's it. And you can give it whatever text you'd like and it will create it. We're going to play around more with this in a future video. I thank you for watching, and please visit filmsbychris.com. That's Chris with the K. There's a link in the description as always. I hope that you have a great day. Hello and welcome to a video from filmsbychris.com. That's Chris with the K. I'm Chris with the K. And if you've been watching my previous videos over the last couple of days or weeks, you'll notice that we've created two images so far. We've created a QR code that's a PNG called QRPNG, and we've also created a file that has a text in it that says hello world, and it says text.png is the name of the file. We're going to continue using ImageMagick. We've talked about it in the previous video, but we're going to use it to combine the images. So ImageMagick, when you install it, will usually have a number of packages. Convert is one of them. On some systems, it might complain that you want to type in magic convert first, but so far on most Linux systems, you just have to type convert. And what we're going to do is we're going to say -append, and then we can give it whatever the images I want. So I can say text PNG and QRPNG, and then I'll give it an output 01.png. And when I do that, you'll see that we have a new image. And if I was to click to open this, and zoom in, you'll see that it put the first image that I passed it at the top and the second image at the bottom. So if we wanted to, we could flip that. I could just say append, and I can say QR PNG and then text PNG. And now when we do it, you can see it flip-flopped them. Now, this is putting one on top of the other. If we were to take the same command and change the append to plus append, well, now it's going to put them next to each other. So we have the QR code, and then next to it would be the Hello World PNG. Now, we can go a little bit further and add to this command the gravity command, or the gravity switch. So we can just say gravity, and there's different options, but we're going to center it. So we're just going to say dash gravity center. Now when I run this, you'll see it's updated, and the words, even though they were different size images, it's centered both of them. So now it has the QR code and the Hello World right there. Now we can also do that, center gravity, and we can say dash. And now you can see Hello World is centered under the QR code, where before it was off to the left. Now we are taking this and putting it together with the QR code and Hello World. Well, let's say we wanted to put the text of the QR code underneath the QR code. Well, in a previous video, we used Z-bar image to get the text from the PNG. Well, we could also combine that with this command. So in a previous video, we used convert, and then we used this to create the font size label, and then we gave it some text. But if we put the $ parentheses here and we put this Z-bar command inside these quote parentheses, it will run that command and output the text of the QR code. So now when I do that, it's going to overwrite the text.png file with whatever text is saved inside that QR code. So now you can see it says filmsbychris.com. So you can create a QR code, and then you can read that QR code, create a text image, and then you can take that and put them together, and now you have a QR code with also the label of the text of whatever was in the QR code underneath it, which is very nice if you're creating a QR code. One of the most common things it's used for is putting URL in. But what if you want to share a URL and someone doesn't have something right there with them to scan it? Well, they can see the URL right there on the text. So that, I feel, is super useful right there. That's it. Thank you for watching filmsbychris.com. Have a great day. Hello and welcome to a video from filmsbychris.com. That's Chris with a K. I'm Chris with a K. Today we are going to be printing the same text a certain number of times. It sounds silly. It will make sense in a future video. We're going to incorporate this with some stuff we've done previously in previous videos, and we could use a for loop. And for something small, it wouldn't be a big deal, but I kind of wanted to have print the same word multiple times on one line without a long line of code, and I also wanted to show off printf. So lots of times when we print stuff to the screen, we'll use echo, like echo hello. We can also use printf. Printf means print format. So it's similar to echo, but it's a little bit better for formatting. Yes, a lot of the stuff it does can be done with echo, but it's specifically made for formatting. So let's say I wanted to print the word hello 15 times. Well, I could do this. What this is saying is printf, and then this is going to look at the output of this. This is brace expansion. So what this does in bash, with the curly braces there, 1.15, it's going to actually count from 1 to 15. So I should actually, just to demonstrate this, I could say echo, and you can see it prints out 1 through 15. Well, if I was to take that printf command again, what it's doing here is it's taking this string, hello world, and it's saying, okay, print that this many times. So it's going to go 1 through 15. That's what this is, the %0.s. And just to show you, it prints it 15 times. Now you notice that it says hello world and there's no space there. All we have to do to fix that is put a space there. And now we have hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world, over and over again 15 times. Again, this might seem a little silly right now, but it will be useful in a future video. So I just wanted to throw out this quick video under 2 minutes just to show this off, just to prep for an upcoming video. Thank you for watching, and as always, I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you have a great day. Hello and welcome to a video from filmsbychris.com. That's Chris with the K. I'm Chris with the K. Today we're going to be creating a grid of images. In a previous video, we used Image Magic, which is a super useful application for manipulating images, and we used it to append images, and we could append them across each other. So I could go, start with one, and then to the right of it be another image, and the right of that another image, and right of that another image. We also learned how to do it, append them from top to bottom. So in like this case, we took the QR code, this QR code, and we took this text, and we combined them with one above each other using the append option. Well, again, when you install Image Magic, it installs a plethora of applications or commands, and one of them is the montage command. And we can use the montage command to create a grid or a tile of images. So I can say tile 2x2, so for a 2x2 grid. And then I just give it the name of a couple images. So I'll say output 1. And then I also have output 2 PNG, which is the same image just without the text under it. And then I want to give it an output file. So I'll say output 3.3.png. When I run that, you can see I have this. And we said create a grid by 2 by 2, so it has image 1, image 2, but then it leaves blank spots for the remaining spots. All I have to do to add another image is I can come back here, and we're just listing the files we want to add in there. So I run this command where we've created a 2 by 2, and we said start with image 1, image 2, or image 1, and then the output of image 3. So you can see that we created that, and again, it left an empty spot. So I could pass it image 1 or 2 again, or some other image. I'm just going to pass it image 1 again. So now we have output 1, output 2, output 1, all in one image as a grid. This is super useful. And you can create grids of other sizes. So I can say I want it to be 2 by 4. And when I run that, you can see we have 2 by, and then we have empty spots for the 4. So if we wanted to fill in those, I could come in here and I can say, let's add output 2, 2 more times. And you can see fill those in. We still have space, so I can add it 2 more times. So you can see how this can get kind of long, but it's also very simple. You're just listing whatever files you want, and you can have the same one in there more than once, but now we have a nice grid of images. We're going to work on this a little bit more, going to improve on the quality of it and the padding on it in a future video. I thank you for watching. I'm trying to keep these videos short. Have a great day. Hello and welcome to a video from filmsbychris.com. That's Chris the K. I'm Chris the K. We have been building to this. I want to create a grid of QR codes with a URL printed underneath them that I can print off on a sheet and then cut into, like, I don't know, business card size things. So working with previous video, we used the montage command, which is part of the Image Magic command. And I want to create a grid of 3 by 5. So I'm going to say montage-tile 3x5. And then I want to have the image output 1, which is this image here, which already has the text underneath it. And since we're doing a 3 by 5, I need to put that file name in there 15 times. So there we go, I have it 15 times, and then I'm going to output it to a file called output_03png, and there we go. I have a grid of QR codes with the URL under them. Okay, that is a lot to type. I mean, it's super simple because I'm just listing whatever images I want. It just happens to be the same one over and over again. But if you've been watching this series, you know that we can use printf to shorten this up some. So what I'm doing here is I'm using $ and parentheses, which means inside here is going to be a command we're running, and replace this with whatever the output of that command is. We're using printf to print output_01.png with a space 15 times. So now that shortens up our command a little bit. Let me just delete this output file, whoops, and replace it with this, because by default it would replace it. You wouldn't see any difference, because this is essentially, this is the same command as this. We have just shortened it up by a lot. And there we go. Now we have our image. Now, a little bit more you might want to know, depending on how you want this to print, we can also add the geometry option to this. So now that we've shortened up the command, I'm going to add something to it. I'm going to say -geometry, and I'm going to give it a resolution of 100 by 100, and I'm going to say +50, +10. That's the padding. If I run that, it doesn't look that different. You notice it got a little bit wider. Just to demonstrate it a little bit more, make it a little more exaggerated, I'm going to add another 0 there. So I'm going to say padding of 500. And now you can see that it has stretched out the spacing between the images. And so you got your horizontal and vertical padding there. So there you go. If you combine all our tutorials together, you could easily create a script that can basically generate a printable sheet of whatever images, whether it's QR codes or text or images you have from other things. I hope you've been watching these videos. I hope you find them useful. I want to do a little bit of time, build on it, build on it. There are notes in all of the videos with in the description of all the videos, so you can see all the commands there. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I thank you for watching, and as always, I hope that you have